right? And so he left me high and dry with 2 pilots that had never PvP before, and just like left because I had said that, and just like he didn't get off the game, he didn't stop streaming, he just something else. And so, okay, so that's like kind of that's the climax to it. The way that the 13th Legion worked is in order to progress in rank, you had to do certain things. So, for the early ranks, it mostly came down to being active, showing up in fights, engineering your ship, and like, they would usually, if you killed somebody that was like important, they would usually promote you. Like, they promoted Ultimate Gamer after he blew Chicken up, for example. I mean, it's not that hard, but Ultimate Gamer is actually,
Like, yank someone that they like to see blow up.
Basically,
pilots.
it was marketed as being you have to kind of like go and find somebody challenging to fight and then beat them, and then they'll promote you. But that was, in reality, it wasn't really how it worked. It was mostly like blow up someone annoying and then show it to us so we can laugh about it, and then we'll promote you.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, who was this? Yamato, that guy that we were shooting at today, CFM, he got promoted outside or away from recruit because he blew up Luca Tomato.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, like,
That's amazing.
that doesn't prove anything. You can, like, blowing up Luca Tomato is nothing impressive.
I mean, yeah, you're getting rid of some annoying fuck, but...
I mean, okay, it's satisfying. Knowing that Luca Tomato died is satisfying.
Yeah.
But it defeats the purpose of the entire system. So that's just like one example. Jay was fast-tracked through the ranks without doing any of these things because of the exposure that his stream gave the group when he started slapping our logo all over it and advertising.
Yeah.
Shady and Ed really liked that, and they were talking about ways to exploit it more in officers all the time, and I just didn't want any part of it, so I didn't get involved. And the information in the 13th is very compartmentalized. 4 or 5 people knew everything, and then nobody knew anything else, basically.
Huh, wonderful.
And if well, the reason that we did that is because we were scared of like our enemies getting the same information that we had. And we did have a bunch of stuff that I'm pretty sure that you guys didn't have, but I also gave you all of it when I came here, so that's okay. We had a bunch of like really easy ways to we knew about a bunch of exploits and stuff like that. We knew about certain one of the exploits that I actually fucked with Potter for a little bit was for a little while in 2.2 you could do premium lasers.
Yeah.
What?
For a little while. It was only in there for like 2 months. But we put 2 and 2 together and we had premium healing lasers for a little while in 2.2.
Yeah.
For, you know, maximum aids. And that's why, like, when we healed, it was always better than when someone else did. So when AA tried it, it didn't work because we just out-healed them because we had premium ones. Which is, I admit, really stupid and toxic, but only certain people knew how to do this, and everybody else was completely kept from knowing that it existed at all. And then when it got patched out, we didn't even go and tell anybody that it existed at all. And the only reason it even came out is because I trolled Potter with it, trying to piss him off one time, and then had Potter direct messaging me for about a month and a half, trying to figure out how to get premium lasers after it had already been patched out. I have those those direct messages if you want to see. Actually, they're pretty fun. But so Jay got fast-tracked through all of the ranks, completely circumvented all of the system, and was shown a lot of favorability because of his stream, right? But the thing is that none of the officers actually watched his stream. Except me. And I only watched it on occasion. And after a while, I kind of figured out that Jay wasn't very good. Like, I'm watching his stream and he's fighting somebody who at the time I was pretty sure was like pretty good. Like he was fighting like Ent Trederson, who I think is decent. But I've only fought him like one time and killed him horribly, so I don't know. He's fighting Ent Trederson and he's literally like going 402 no fucking power in his engines, and like he has his fucking throttle like locked at the blue zone, and he was like, he had a glass of water in his hand and was like drinking this water. He didn't have his hand on his when he was fighting. He was using his stick the entire time and was like holding a glass of water in his other hand. So to like give you an example of like the full retardness, but you already know all that.
I just don't think he's a nice person.
Oh no, I agree with you.
If it came down to it.
Well, he started to kind of crack and started showing these things to a few people, but at one point he apparently went off on orgy. I wasn't there, but I heard the backlash for it in officers, because for a time I was in officers and Jay was not. So Jay was a pretty hot topic in officers because everyone was trying to figure out the way to maximize the publicity that he was giving the group and like get recruits and everything. Because when we were fighting, we were always getting like fucking ass blasted by like 3 times as many ships as we had.
Yeah.
So we were trying to get more people, basically, and figuring out how to do that. And we were trying to do that through Jay. And I was expressing in officers that I felt that this was a bad idea. Because the way that Jay flies doesn't make us look good. It doesn't make us, like... Him being the face of the group is not small, is essentially all I was saying.
Well, I told Shady that.
Well, this is one of the things that made me start sow the seeds of doubt in the competency. Shady's a nice guy, and Shady is capable of calming people down when everyone gets really fucking mad and is yelling at each other, which happens sometimes. Like, sometimes officers would degrade into, like, a name-calling shit show of, like, pure stupidness. And Shady would resolve that. But he didn't do anything else. He was very hands-off with the way that the group was led. Ed never fucking played. Zeno played even less. And they occupied all of the heavy leading positions. So, essentially, how the 13th Legion Officers Corps went was... Shady, who is always grinding and never plays the game, except for in rare occasions or in training. Ed, who never plays the game. Zeno, who never, ever plays. It took him 4 months to get his ships in after the patch dropped. He just, like, didn't do it. Rambo, who fucking runs his mouth on Reddit and in every Discord imaginable and makes us look dumb. Eggsy's nice, but he doesn't do anything. And then it was me and Orgy. Orgy ran, I think, the more positive branch of our exposure, which was that Legends of Eravate thing. And that actually pulled in a lot of people because it was kind of lighthearted and pretty shitposty, and the footage that was used on it was selective, so we could kind of hide the suckery of some of the people that were in the group. But Jay got fast-tracked through everything and just started stepping on people's toes and being really cocky and burning bridges with, like, other groups and just generally running his mouth. There was a lot of friction between us and LL because of Unreal J that I said that we should get rid of him because of this.
The player group that he came from, and they agreed with me.
Well, I'm not surprised.
I don't know who this Unreal J is.
Dark Echo warned us too.
But you need to put that little fucker on a leash, because I'm tired of running his mouth. And they acknowledged that in their reply to me. They're like 3-paragraph reply.
Yeah, no, Dark Echo warned us about Jay, actually. We got like a big long formal warning about it, and we had an office conference about it, which we decided to disregard. You see the image that's being constructed here, right? It's basically every warning imaginable happened, and then nothing was done about it. So it's kind of like global warming, where it's like...
I'm thinking more Chernobyl. But...
Yeah, Chernobyl is another one. Every warning imaginable was presented, and then nobody did anything, and then it blew up and everyone died. I'm like, okay, well...
And we're still dealing with the after effects, or the...
Oh, yeah. So yeah, it kind of, everything kind of peaked when It was getting to a point because what was happening is that fucking Kuyu was getting good really, really, really fast because of the reception that he was getting in GCI, and he was doing, by this point, the workload between me and him for running the group was split approximately 60-40. He handled all of the diplomatic stuff, I handled recruit training, recruiting, and a lot of the paperwork. I did a lot of paperwork. And then what happened is this thing with Jay went down, and I got demoted, and suddenly my job got dropped on Kuyu because no one else did it. Also the PvP league didn't help. That was a disaster. Oh, well,
I don't even know what happens in the PvP league. I don't really care either.
well, we didn't let Jay fly in the PvP league for obvious reasons. And he went and started a whole bunch of shit about this, and a bunch of people left. Because he would run his mouth about officers, like, early in the morning when no one's on. And then all the Euro people and the new recruits would see it before the officers did, and they would get cold feet and decide, hey, maybe I don't want to be. And they would leave. You know, intelligently. And, yeah, he's just been a constant problem. Like, I don't really know, like...
Well, just shoot him when you see him in game.
I can't wait, honestly.
Whenever he gets back from Colonia.
Like, I am ecstatic to see him in game. He,
I gotta get off voice calls for a minute. I gotta talk to Grandma before I leave.
Oh, okay.
But, I can talk. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, to conclude the story, if you make any critique about Jay's ability to play the game, he responds with 1v1 me, right?
Yep, pretty much.
And then what happens is that if you 1v1 him and beat him, the VOD disappears and he pretends it never happened. And then he has, in a way, he has more influential sway than some people because of the streams. We're bitching. I'm telling an extended story about why Unreal J is terrible.
I'm arguing with fucking Chicken and Bad Buns, you know? He's basically like, he seems to be kind of triggered that like we do the same shit as STC. I don't know what the issue is though.
Wait, what? Play the game and they don't?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He's like,
That's why I kinda left.
well, you guys PvP? Oh, that means that you're basically FCC.
He's just shitposting.
I mean, it is Badlands.
I mean,
If
yeah,
he-
it's
that's
bad.
all he goes for is extreme autism at all time. So
We just called him. We actually just referred to him as Mega Faggot when we weren't on stream.
mega faggot.
He was Mega Faggot in officers chat. We're like, oh well, Mega Faggot said this, and we all knew who we were talking about. apparently on the STC TeamSpeak or something, when we had gotten a mole in there once, we saw that he had like his own tag that was Mega Faggot, and no one else had that tag. So that's where that started. Like he just he had it was pretty funny.
That's why I like the SCC TeamSpeak. Like people will call each other shit, and like no one will be like, oh, you can't say that, and then just be like, yeah, you're shit.
That's part
Like,
of the
everyone
problem
can
with
say
what
it.
happened in 13th, honestly, is that it didn't allow that kind of criticism. Me saying, hey Jay, when I ask you to fly evasive, do more than rotate in place, was enough to get me demoted 2 rank.
That's terrible.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, usually in there it's just like, dude, you're fucking garbage at this game. Stop playing. And they're like, oh, okay. And that was that, pretty much.
Well, yeah, he would solve any kind of criticism that was presented to him with 1v1 me. And then every one of the officers that he said this to would fucking ass rape him. Horribly. Because it wasn't very hard. Especially Ed. Holy shit. Like, Ed just fucking dunked on Jay in a way that was absolutely inconceivable. Exclusive. Because even though Exclusive never plays and flies a big ship, he's actually really, really, really good.
Expressive. Oh, no, that's exclusive.
Exclusive.
Okay, so I beat Expressive. I don't think I've ever fought it.
Well, it's because he never fucking played. But he stopped being active around the time of somewhere around there. That's when he stopped really participating. But so basically, what would happen is that every officer was able to completely dick on Jay. But then Jay refused to acknowledge that these events had ever happened, and all of the VODs of his stream where this happened on it were deleted, and no one ever spoke about it again, basically, is how he tried to control this information. we had a little bit of a headbutt when he tried to tell a recruit one thing and I told them another thing. I believe the thing that he was saying was that flight assist off is pointless. And
Wow.
yeah, and I'm like, no, you're just wrong about that. I'm sorry. And so he's like, well, 1v1 me, Cups. Like, you've never beaten me before. And I'm like, I have beaten you. And he's like, no, you haven't. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll just beat you again so that you can be wrong now. And I fucking whip the Python out and literally, like, smear his ass all over the ground. And it just, you know, this happened a bunch.